One thing that I keep saying to myself and I keep liking every time I find the situation is challenges. If you do things too neat, if you go too much, I feel you're not performing well. But maybe I should accept whenever you have better resources and quality could be better. But anyway, challenges are good.
Little steps. I think having the 3 cameras will be.
That's a.
We'll see. It's 3 times the work, but that's okay.
That's also true.
You won't have to be.
I started for you today.
Sure.
Why are we here? We are starting, obviously we have time to talk and to think, which we haven't had it for a long time.
Months, years.
Hence, we are here. With no specific objectives, and as we said before, we got the intention to do this. But objectives, we don't know where we go. Why did we start? Of course, you and I have a very different age, different background completely. We crossed paths when you worked with me. And you were part of the national team.
Bali in 2012, the Asian Championships.
Well, at one point we became teacher and students, and then we carried on and becoming, as we are now, colleagues, but totally from different places and ages and generations and so on. But why somebody becomes a coach or a fencing coach? It's different for everybody, I think. Sometimes it's casual. I met people, even amazing people, who become casual. Someone just, they continue their career. What was for you? Because I only say one thing and then I listen. This is a country that we can say, with no offense, that is not, fence is not the first thing that somebody thinks when he grows up. There's other sports, they are very important here, no?
Yeah.
So why fencing for you, and why even more coaching as a working career?
Fencing was because I was doing wrestling actually when I was a kid, because I was, as you might be able to tell from my
like with other people or
yeah,
as a sport?
As a sport.
Okay. Because in Sicily we do wrestling,
yeah,
but on the street.
No. This was with an old Iranian coach. But as you can probably tell from my personality, I'm not much of a team sport guy. As much so rugby and all these other things didn't work. I was getting into fights, and so they were like, okay, we're going to put you into something where you fight people. And then when I was 12, I had the cancer cut out of my arm, and they said, oh, you can't do wrestling or boxing or anything anymore. And then at my high school, there was fencing, and I went, oh, I can fight people with one arm. And that was it. And then it just became a continuation of things all the way through. And then, yeah, I think I just kind of kept going with it, and then somehow found my way into, as you go
and
through
the
steps.
coaching is even more fascinating, because while I believe in Australia, many people would have similar, not the same experience of yours. Like you don't like,
everyone had cancer.
You don't like AFL, you don't like rugby, or you can't play the sport, the other sport, the classical ones. I mean, are people who are different. As you said, like I'm not a team person. It's true, but in teams, people don't have to be always together. Everybody brings water to the same bucket. But as a coach, it's even more interesting, I believe, because as a career, especially here, especially today, is something pretty odd, I would say.
I kind of fell into it. Because
you like it?
Yeah, I like it. But it was one of those ones where I don't think I'd planned it at all. It would have been about, you remember, 15, 16-ish, where I was starting to help you a little bit with the younger guys at UNSW. And I think there was one tour in Tokyo where we took a massive group to Tokyo in foil, saber, and epee, all together. And you asked me to help look after, I think it was a cadet or under some group. And it made me think, I actually quite like looking after them. And I remember when you gave me some feedback from Matthew Donald, who I think I was coaching him on the piste or something, and you told me afterwards that Matt had come to you and said that I'd said something good, or he enjoyed what I said. And I think
that was actually pretty common. People were saying that on the piste you were doing a good job.
And I think that from there, I remember, because at the time I was sort of barely in the team. I think I was 8 or so. I was always a sort of on the team, but not in the 4 and all that sort of stuff. And I think you were starting to push at that point. You said, you can think about Because I remember, I feel like it came from you a little bit, but it also was just me starting to
It happened,
enjoy
yeah.
that. But also I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
I
being
think
on
you
the,
like it. I
I
think you
enjoyed
like
being
it,
on the side of the piece and saying that sort of stuff. And then after, must have been, it was one of the World Cups where I remember, it was a bother with my hand. I think it was one of the World Cups where the last one's 15 or 16, where I remember my hand swelled up completely. I don't know what it was, but it was in my wrist or something. And I was like, my whole finger was like a sausage. And then I sort of decided that I was going to do one more comp or something, and then it was going to, I sort of said that, let's see where it goes. I sort of went, I'm the sort of person that I guess wants to jump into, if I'm not going to do something with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I said, let's go and let's learn it properly. Because it was at the time of still, you were doing the morning lessons at UNSW. And it just became I remember I would sit there, I would take the first lesson and I would just sit and watch you work with, you know, Rita, Beatrice and Sholto and whoever was else in that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most likely you have pleasure, you take pleasure in teaching and in being a mentor to somebody or to some people. And I think this is the main reason why somebody usually teaches. Some they do for their own ego to be on top of something. But I believe that would be the wrong reason for teaching. I saw you and I've seen you in these years. You like to have a team around you and to be their coach and so on. And that's a very good reason for coaching. It's more, the strange part is more where we are. But in the end, as I'm doing myself, teaching is teaching and fencing is also good here. The international level is another matter that depends on many other things.
I think a big bit in terms of that, and I think I see it in you a lot, and I think it's maybe a different way of saying a lot of what you normally say, is I feel like I enjoy a lot of the process. I like to be process orientated is the fancy word you want to say. I enjoy like improving things. I enjoy wanting to make something better.
Well, that's
and it kind of fits very well into fencing, where it's, you might not, yes, okay, there's ostensibly a goal somewhere, but as we said last week, it's sort of, the goal is not the point. The improvement and doing things properly is the point. And if you can do things properly, then you're going to improve.
The goal is still underneath. You, especially a teacher or a leader, knows where he wants to go.
Yeah.
Let's not mistake that part. But the goal is not just something you say, I want to go there. It's how you get there. Because then if you don't follow with actions, things don't mean that much. And since you mentioned the improvement part, the pathway, I was thinking how important it is to make people understand, the students understand, what are the main things to learn. But not because we want to teach anything to anybody, meaning outside. We are teachers, so we want to teach. But it's not like we want to say, that's the way teaching has to be done, or fencing has to be done. But we found in these years,
You have a very different philosophy.
that we have a very different philosophy from here, especially. You've grown up, you had a great, well, you've grown up with me, but you had definitely a big help from Daniele, no? From Italy, which I remember that I've chosen as your mentor for épée, because I could have chosen other Italian épée coaches. And with all respect for everybody, I thought he could be some guy that could give you something for the way he communicates. So you took that kind of philosophy, you fell into it, using your words, because you belong more to that way of learning and teaching. So feeling more, working on instinct more, rather than repeated mechanical movement. We never liked it, also because we are creative people, and we would get bored if you repeat something 3 times. And we wonder ourselves, why should I repeat something 3 times if it's not going to happen in a match, most likely? How do you know how your opponent reacts?
I was going to say, I don't know about you, but I was terrible in like classrooms for that reason. Like I couldn't sit and like just write stuff down in the class.
I didn't have, I couldn't sit. I had a special permission to stand up sometimes, or to go out and eat, also because I don't know why. I didn't have breakfast when I was younger. I realized everybody does, but my family didn't. That's a little a small thing. And so what we focus on what we call, what is primary, almost we can use the word priority here. What is primary for us? For us, primary is making people enjoy what they do, because with fun, people learn much more. Even adults, I've seen adults that they learn more when they enjoy what they're doing. But most of all, we decided the instinct must be developed in the right way. The mechanic serves the instincts, not the other way around. So if somebody doesn't feel what he has to do, if he doesn't read the opponent, then it is meaningless, because you can do 10 step lunges and disengage blind, but that you can do it to a dummy. So we teach the part. To teach the part, we need, again, the fun part and the focus of our fences. And we noticed a lot when people come from other places, how different our idea is, but it's very Italian. Italy wouldn't be so different. I would add Japan as a country that is similar. The others are pretty different, generally speaking. I think at the base, they work more mechanically, although I don't know everybody. But we like it this way. We don't know if it's the right one, but we think that allowing people to read what's going on and to feel what the right action is what we like to teach, no? And,
Yeah, well,
and
I
you
feel
like it too. I see you enjoy while you're
Yeah.
teaching it.
I feel like it's a consequence, though, of, funnily enough, I feel like somehow the system, if you want to call it a system, whatever we have built here, even before you built it and all these sort of things came through, there was somehow a link closer to what it is in Italy, in the sense of we don't have as much of a centralized system. In the same way that Italy has mostly clubs. It's not like
Absolutely.
it's
They're-
not like
they're clubs, and then they meet in the national team
Yeah.
occasionally.
But it's not like they're permanently
No.
in one place like
Not-
most
not
most
like
big countries
France,
are.
not like
Yeah.
China, not like many.
And so the clubs become more important. Not to say they're not important in other countries, but they're more foundational in how you build.
Well, in the pyramidal
everything.
systems like China or France or Korea, the clubs are just the beginning,
Yeah.
and they are very important, but they are the start. And but then the national team does the rest of the job.
Yeah.
And I would say the international environment does the job, because when you get talented people fencing other talented people around the world, that's where they learn, almost regardless what the basics were. In Italy, it's not like this, because most people bring whatever they learned in a club into the national team, and from the national team to the international fencing. And there is the kind of school, the kind of system that keeps going. Although the national team brings something extra, of course, it depends. I've seen a big difference between one national coach to the other. They give their imprint, of course. Yes, we created more of a club, and a club environment that we like too, even in the sense of belonging. No?
Yeah.
That's an important part. And because of this, it's all connected. What is for us the most important quality for a fencer? If you would ask 3/4 of the people that we know, and I'm underrating the number, they would say speed, or they would say
Precision
doing
or
some
something, yeah,
precision
yeah.
or something.
Or focus or something.
Very much. And we say that on the piste it could be adaptability, because you need to adapt to situations. That's what we teach. That's why we teach them to feel, to sense what's happening. However, I come up more recently with something that is more general, that I think is the main quality of a fencer, of a sportsman, maybe in life. And the main quality that somebody must have is the ability and the knowledge to improve. It's too important. There was somebody that had saying, oh, do you think this champion, and he was talking about the football champion actually, when he was playing on the street and he was doing his talented thing, because on the street you play as you like it, do you think that when he went in a professional team he kept playing the same way? It changed completely.
Yeah.
Because in a team you play, for instance, passing the ball and so on. Why this change? Because his main quality wasn't just the tricks that he would be able to do with the ball, or if it was a fencer, would be with the follow, with his feet, with his coordination. It's the ability of improving. If you want to improve, and you have the ability to improve, so you need to have the knowledge, either it's in your body or the coach, the knowledge to make somebody improve, then you keep growing.
Yeah.
And we go back to the pathway. You go up. Where you go, it depends on many other factors, but you improve. If you don't have this feeling that you want to improve, your talent alone, whatever that is, that you're fast, you're intelligent, you're coordinated, it stops. The ability and the knowledge, I would say, because if you don't have the knowledge, you don't do anything. And the coach is the same. A coach must be able to improve himself or herself and be able to improve the defensa. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say on a follow-up to that then, because I feel like this is a potential Pandora's box in terms of conversation that leads to other things.
Very typical of fencing coaches speaking usually.
I was going to say this feels a lot like the conversations we used to try to avoid in certain old camps. What do you think how do you think you give someone, or how do you pass someone that ability to improve? Because a lot of it, I would argue, could almost be intrinsic, is that it's you feel it from a person that walks in. You know, we get this feeling sometimes when someone comes through the door. It could be a beginner or someone who's done something before. You feel when you work with them, from the start you work with them, they've got something, some ability within them already that they can improve themselves. I don't know if you agree with me.
But like in everything, if you're talking about somebody who is coordinated, some people are coordinated genetically.
Yeah.
Some people, they become coordinated enough. We had an example of or Sholto, no, for instance. I don't think he was a coordinated person.
No.
He had the other quality.
Yeah.
He wanted to improve. He was intelligent to improve. So he made himself a little structure, of course with our help, to become a very excellent fencer.
But where do you find that? Where do you find that? How can you give someone the ability to improve? Because that's a hard thing.
We don't have to get the surgeon's disease or that they feel like God, as much as that's so important. My wife says it's correct. They are gods because they give life somehow. It's very big.
I think my dad would like your.
Yeah, of course. It's a feeling that when you do something so important, you have somebody under your hands that might die or not. Anyway, we are not gods, so we can try to help people trying to pass our ability of improving, our thirst and hunger for improvement to the athletes. But same way as we pass technique, some things cannot be passed. So we try, we keep, as long as we keep doing our job, we need to do it. Everybody is different. So to remind them all the time, I don't remind people need to be faster. We need to put an effort because you need to improve, especially when you start working on details. So we try to push in the direction. What it matters from us, educators, teachers, is where we push and in which directions we push. We choose to push in the direction where we want to improve. How? Then it also matters. What do we like to improve? I keep saying the sense of feelings, the reading abilities. Other things are important, but they are secondary. So we push. If they have it inside, good. If they don't, we try to add it. If it doesn't work either way, it is what it is. And the majority of people don't go far in sport because it's normal, it's natural.
Yeah.
Not everybody's got the same.
The world is very pyramid shaped when it comes to sport.
It is what it is. But as long as we know, for we want where we want to go again, we go back to objective. Our objective is to improve people. Then how do we improve them? In physically, mentally, and so on. We think that developing and constantly watering that ability, that thirst of improving is very important. And I know it's an abstract, and in fact we might cut a lot of this, but it's an abstract concept, and it's easier to say, oh, you should improve your lunge and step lunge. But then it would be an intellectual
I think, but that's why we like fencing, because if everything could be quantified, it would become, someone would mathematically become a world champion and never lose.
Not for us, but many would like the way. And
I mean in the sense of, if it was possible, someone would have done it. That's the way I see it. If it was possible to quantify success in fencing. Yeah, exactly.
But, and then this would be, it can be directed at people that think they have a recipe for something, and they tell me or they tell us, oh, but don't you think we should do better this one? We should do better at lunge. Don't you think we should parry better? It makes no sense to us. It might make sense to other people. To us, it doesn't make sense, and the answer, politely and diplomatically, is mind your own business and do and do whatever is your job. We can give it proper answers in that way. Summarizing, very simple. We know where we are going. We are teaching with fun and in an interactive way with the students the ability of improving. How we improve, what we improve first for us is mostly the sense of the hit. I'm actually writing something on the sense of the hit because I like the word, because I want to fight as much as possible the mechanical side of fencing. Having said this, people need to do mechanical movements in a certain way. Otherwise, at the right moment, they don't take out the right action when they need to use it. Anyway, so we went around more philosophically about, but this is connected to the beginning. You start fencing for certain reasons. You start coaching for similar reasons in the end, because it's you, because it's inside you. The fact that you want to teach, the fact that you want to mentor people, that you want to pass some concepts rather than other. Very likely, if you would have to teach something that was super mechanically, you wouldn't have liked it, and you would have to do different. I can say, making a super quick analysis of my life, that's been much longer than yours, that these reasons are the reasons why I like it. It's because I like to teach. It's because I like to teach this way, and I like to pass these concepts, and I like to be present in the life of people, starting from wherever I started, from down south of Italy and going up and then changing countries and then coming here, meeting you, meeting the guys, up to this new generation. In the end, I'm a presence in their life, and I like to pass something. But to pass something in this way, because what we are talking about, the sense of the heat, the feeling of the heat, the ability to improve, I think it stays with them forever.
Yeah.
So in a very small way, we give a contribute. So it's connected. It shows who we are, no? That's the important part.
We're definitely running out of time, but I was thinking one thing that might be nice for next week is, guys, if you want to leave comments, I think it could be nice to do a Q&A. It's a way to extend the conversation beyond us to...
Very good. On YouTube.
Yeah, onto YouTube, or just to leave comments under YouTube or Instagram, wherever you're seeing this.
I didn't know people could leave comments.
People can leave comments, yeah. Okay, if they're nasty, we probably won't reply to them straight away. We'll read them, but it's a way to extend the conversation beyond us, because I'm sure, when we talk about philosophy and things like that, it brings up people have questions, things like that. So leave your comments or questions, and next week we'll come back with a little Q&A session. It could be a nice way to see what people
to interact with people. Yeah. Why not? But you read it, because I don't have.
I'll set it
YouTube
up.
is not. Okay.
I'll set it up. Don't worry. But we should sign off, because that's we're out of time.
Thank you. See you next time.
We'll see you all next week.